Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and this is July 2022. We're at the Cumberland Gap National Park. We're about to hike to Tri-State Peak on the Tri-State Trail. We'll check that out. Oh, and by the way, there's my friend Carrie. She was hiking with us. We call her the bag lady. She takes a bag with her and actually picks up garbage when she hikes, which is nice of her. Just wanted to point that out. She likes to jump on camera. By the way, these historic markers are a little confusing, and I just wanted to mention that because they talk about Union General Morgan, and then they talk about the Morgan's raids. Somebody left some sort of little care package there, which I don't know if that was religious based or what, but I think that's sweet when people leave things for other people to pick up. In fact, as we were hiking, just right as we started our hike, there was a little older couple coming down the trail and past us, and the guy had a really nice hiking stick, and he goes, "Here you go," and he gave me his hiking stick, which I thought was really nice. I almost thought about leaving it for someone else, but I like it a lot. So thank you, strange person who gave me their hiking stick. That was just nice. And I would try to give you a little history, but I'll just tell you a little bit about our hike on this day and a little bit about the Cumberland Gap. This hike is 1.2 miles up to the point where you can see and stand in 3 states at the same time: Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And then, of course, it's 1.2 miles back. There's, of course, little side hikes you can take here and there. We would take a short but very steep uphill hike to see Fort Foote, one of several Civil War forts that still exist here at Cumberland Gap. And if you're familiar with Civil War forts, usually that's earthworks. I mean, it just looks like somebody dug a ditch, or it's if you're hiking and you're not looking for it, you might miss it. It's not like Fort Boonesborough or something where you're looking at logs stacked up into a log cabin. You're basically looking at earthwork, kind of ditches and things like that. But yeah, we still had a nice little hike. We hiked up. We did our photos once we got to the top. It was very nice. And we took our dogs with us. So there were 4 people. My wife and I, my friend Rick and Carrie, and they brought one of their dogs, Dexter, and we brought our dogs, Forrest and Remy. And Remy is our newest dog. We've had him for a month, and he is a wiener dog, and he led the way. We did not realize this, but they are hikers, and he's a little muscle, and I'm not kidding. He walked the whole way. We did not carry him at all. He was eager to be moving around, which I thought was pretty cool. And there's a little information about some different paths you can take to go to different spots as you're out hiking. We did this hike, leisurely. I'd say in under 3 hours. And it was, again, it was uphill for quite a ways. So we really felt like we'd accomplished something that was just a nice hike, and I thought I'd mention that. And of course, there's the Daniel Boone marker, which is just kind of cool. And the Cumberland Gap, I just wanted to say, the Cumberland Gap is really growing on me as a park and a place to go to. I don't think people get how jam-packed this area is. Again, as you look around, we've crossed paths with maybe 15, 20 other hikers on this particular hike. It's a very, kind of a lonely hike. You're there with your buddies or whoever you go in with, and you don't bump into a lot of other people. There's Rick and Carrie again. There's Carrie with her bag and their dog Dexter. This little cave over here, which I thought was kind of neat. But yeah, it's a significant national park, and I've never been here when it's crowded, and there's so much going on near it. You've got Cumberland Gap, you've got all these great hiking trails. You've got Cujo's Caverns, or Gap Cave as they call it now. You've got Middlesboro, Kentucky, a town in a crater. You've got Harrogate, Tennessee, where they have a wonderful Abraham Lincoln Museum. It's right up there with any other Lincoln attraction I can think of. It's wonderful. In fact, I've put videos of those other things up elsewhere. Oh yeah, and I think we're around Fort Foote right now. Again, there's it's kind of overgrown, but if you look around, you might kind of get how soldiers may have used this area for protection and to look out and see what was going on. But I wanted to read just a little bit from a brochure they gave me at the Visitor Center. Fort Foote. Fort Foote was known as Fort Hunter during Confederate occupations and housed an intimidating 4 artillery pieces. This fort sits atop a rocky knoll north of the Tri-State Peak. This position allowed a gun crew to guard the gap. The 2 knolls directly in front of it and gave support to the crews at Fort McCook. Protected by a series of trenches and Fort Farragut to the southwest, Fort Foote was an imposing fortification. To the rear of the fort lay the commissary, which Union General George Morgan destroyed when he evacuated the gap in September 1862. So just wanted to point that out. And again, I mean, that fort really blends in with everything else. And just to mention a little more that's in this area, if you drive into Virginia, just, I don't know, not very far away from the Cumberland Gap Visitor Center, maybe 10 miles or so, it's not that far, there's the Wilderness Road State Park, managed by the Virginia State Park system. And we stopped there, and it was great. In fact, if I haven't already, I'm going to put up a video of that. And I'm dying to get back there. That place is wonderful too. But there's so many great historic sites right in this area. We've taken a few day trips down here from Lexington, but our last trip we actually did a 3-day weekend. Yeah, and here, by the way, here is where the 3 states meet. And we were up here for probably 20 minutes, half an hour, and we had the entire place to ourselves. So we had all sorts of good photo ops, and you could see all the states. Yeah, and we're looking out over Kentucky right now. Hey, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
So yeah, you're literally in 3 states in this spot. There's a little marker, and again, you can stand there and take your pictures. We get all the dogs' pictures in each of the states, and you can just walk around and look at the other states too. And of course, there's these stupid trees blocking the view. I did, as we were walking to the top, I smelled chewing tobacco, and I mentioned it to my friends, and they brought up, well, that could be a ghost smell, which I always think is fascinating. I doubt we smelled ghosts on this particular day, but we really weren't around anybody else at this point. So, yeah, they've got these great markers to show you where you're looking at. And just so you know, we're driving past the Visitor Center here. I wanted to put up a quick video. I always love the Visitor Center here. They've always got great staff and just nice people working there. And they have a nice gift shop too, and you should go in there and buy some stuff and support them. And there's the Tennessee marker when you go up, when you finish your hike and you're up there at the Tri-State Peak. Just a nice marker showing each of the states. And like I said, this whole area is just really growing on me. I know I've got several videos where I mention this is a place I could retire, but I'm going to add this area to my list of places to think about retiring, because it's small, it's still country, and none of these areas have much of an urban feel, but you've got some nice smaller towns around, and you've got just a ton of history. The Lincoln Memorial University and Harrogate, Middlesboro, just a lot of these little places are really growing on me, and I'm really impressed with what these areas are doing. Plus, you've got all these great hiking trails and history at the Cumberland Gap.